members, and welcome back to our Wine Hour. My name is Lorna, the F&B manager, and with us today we have Mukami, who is our wine ambassador. Mukami, welcome. Karibu sana. Today Mukami is going to be taking us on a journey on the Catena Chardonnay, which is from Argentina, and the Kevin Arnold from South Africa. We are learning so much with our very own current night. So Mukami, karibu, and take us through.
Thank you so much.
And we hope you will enjoy the episode.
Thank you for that great introduction, Lorna. As she said, my name is Mukami. I'm the wine expert here at Karen Country Club. And I'm super excited that this is the 5th week that we get to explore different wines available at the Karen Country Club wine list. And the 5th week that I get to share my passion for wines with you. This week we're going to look at wines from 2 different countries, namely South Africa and Argentina. And the grapes that have been used to make this wine aren't necessarily the forefront of these countries. So we're going to look at a Shiraz from South Africa. And Shiraz isn't necessarily the backbone of South African wine industry, though it plays a major role. And Argentina's most popular grape is Malbec, but this week we're doing a Chardonnay because it's fun to keep things exciting and just fun, keep it a little bit more exciting and engaging. I thought this was a good theme for this week, just so I can get you a little bit more curious about different winemaking styles in other countries, so that the next time you come to Karen Country Club and you ask for a Chardonnay, you don't go for a French style or South African style, you go out and you try an Argentinian style. And for me, that matters a lot for plenty of reasons, because I think it's important to try the same grape made in different environments and different countries and different winemaking styles, because it sort of gives you a more curated experience, in a curated wine experience that allows you to really explore and get involved in how versatile and how expressive different people approach wine and how that's reflected in a glass. I think that's very exciting, and I do hope that today I get to show you why that's exciting and encourage you to try it next time you come to Karen Country Club. So today we're going to start with the Argentinian Chardonnay, because I like Chardonnay, and the Shiraz is still decanting in bottle. Right, so Argentina's most popular grape is a Malbec. I'm almost certain everyone who drinks wine will have tried a Malbec, and I think it's a really delicious wine. But today I will argue that Chardonnay from Argentina is also top-tier quality available in the market. To start off with, the Catena Chardonnay is made in the highlands, and that matters because, the higher you go, the cooler it gets. So for grape and grape ripening, the fruit that comes from the highlands tends to be a little bit more acidic than in the lowlands, just because it's cooler, and that coolness doesn't allow fruit to ripen as quickly or as quote unquote deeply as it would have in the lower, warmer regions. Now, for Chardonnay, that would mean that instead of getting super bright lemon, watermelon, passion fruit, maybe mango flavors and textures, you'll get more minerally flavors, like maybe some salt, some limes, like lime skin, and maybe some pineapple. So acidity in wine is not like acidity in fruit. For example, when you go and you bite a lemon, like after tequila shots, it dries out your mouth and you feel like just not like it draws all the moisture from your mouth. Whereas acidity in wine makes your mouth feel wet, like just a rush of saliva coming back. So I hope that's cleared up your mind. So next time you hear someone saying minerality in wine, just think of acidity in wine and visualize what that would feel like as you drink it. Let's try this Argentinian Chardonnay. The logo is quite nice. It's like, I don't know what they call pyramids in South America, but it's that one. I don't know what it's called. Alright, so this is a 2018, which I'm a big fan. I think Chardonnay should be drank after 2 years in bottle, just because this is one grape that really develops new and amazing textures and flavors the longer it sits. But that might be my personal opinion. Perhaps you like it younger. but I just thought I'd share my own bias with you. But cheers. You can see my face, you can definitely tell there's acid from the way my jaw is reacting to it. And yeah, as I was just saying, Chardonnay from like the Highlands will give that reaction. So if this was a blind tasting, I kid you not, I would say this is an oaked Chenin. Chenin really has that punch, that acidity in the back that really covers the back part of your mouth, and so does this, really reflecting the fact that this Chardonnay comes from the Highlands, and it's so different to what I would usually go and try. And that, this is why I love wine. You can have the same grape tasting so differently just based on altitude, soil, and maybe access to water. Onto tasting notes of this, it's like maybe pineapple crumble, so like the butter from the crumble on top and that little crunch and sweetness, and the pineapple with some acidity, some sweetness, and that like lingering like acidity really comes out, although you can still taste like some oak from the aging of this wine. But really what stands out for me is that after 2 years in bottle and already being in oak for a couple of months, that strength of an Argentinian Chardonnay, like that acidity is still very present in the wine, although it's very velvety and very smooth. So you have a sip, you can tell that this is a really, powerful wine, but it's not like, wow, it's not like overpowering in your mouth. It's very gentle in how it feels. Yes, so that was really nice. It's good to hydrate, so drink some water. And I would recommend that you have this wine with food. The first thing that comes to my mind is the fish and coconut sauce with the veggie fried rice. I think that would pair very well because fish and white wine goes beautifully together. But also the coconut is like very rich and, really, when you have coconut, you've had coconut. So the little bit of acidity in this wine would cut through that and make a very pleasant eating experience. I've never had the Chardonnay before. I'm very pleased at it. And this is now definitely on my radar. I would like to try this in like next year and sort of see if that little bit of acidity in the wine will still be there, or will that develop into more velvety and smoother tasting notes in the wine. But yes, that was a fun trip to Argentina. Now let's come into South Africa and take a trip to the Waterford wine estate in Stellenbosch. Waterford is a very popular winery in South Africa. In fact, Karen Club does have another variety from this winery. It is the Peak and Stream Sauvignon Blanc, if I am not mistaken. But today we're going to look at the Shiraz. And before we get into the formal bit of it, can we just appreciate the design of this bottle? It's very sleek, it's very fancy, it's very mysterious. And I am hoping that the bottle design is like, hints and nuances as to what the wine tastes like. So this is a 2015, so it's been in bottle for 5 years. And I would be hard pressed to say that I've had a Shiraz that's been in bottle for 5 years. Perhaps I've had like a Cabernet Sauvignon or maybe a Merlot or like a Bordeaux blend, but Shiraz, I don't think I have. So this will be a fun journey for all of us. So let's get into it. I opened this wine about an hour and a half ago, just so it can like breathe. I'm a very big fan of decanting wine. Let me just put that out in the atmosphere now. I have been known to decant a rosé once in a while, just because I personally don't like when you have a bottle of red wine and you have a sip and it just like takes you out. You taste it, you're like, this is not my energy, this is not for me. But you wait half an hour, you're like, this is the best thing in the world. So I would definitely recommend, if you don't have an aerator or a decanter, or you're like out camping somewhere and you forgot to pack these fancy wine equipment with you, please, please, please try open your bottle of wine at least half an hour before you drink it. Or if you want to curate your personal wine journey, have a glass or like a sip, however much you'd like, as soon as you open the bottle, and then have it after an hour and just take note of how different your reactions to it will be. I know if I open a Cabernet Sauvignon, sorry, and I have a sip as soon as like I take the screw cap or the cork out and I have it in an hour, I'm always like blown away that just, the air, oxygen can have such a powerful impact on wine. And that's another reason why I'm such a wine fanatic, because a little bit of patience can really improve your wine experience at home, at Kayan Country Club, wherever you are. Yes, so let's get into this. Yes, this bottle is very mysterious, and from the color of this wine, it's also very mysterious. It's like a purpley, like ruby red, which for me, if I go technical, it says to me that this wine carries a lot of tannins in it. But if I go like a little bit more relaxed, this wine, the color of this wine to me is like a story. There's many levels to it, and it being so rich and like vivid in color also tells me that it'll taste exactly the same as it looks like. So the story behind this wine is that the winemaker named it after his children, which I think is a very thoughtful gift. I would like to have a wine named after me, but one day, hopefully I can name it after myself. But that's for later, not for today. Let's focus on what we have in front of us. So this is a Shiraz varietal. This is what the wine is, a Shiraz. I reckon it's 88% Shiraz. So if we just take it back to the first Karen wine hour, when we had the double barrel Shiraz from Jacob's Creek made in South Australia, and you compare it to this one, South Australian Shiraz is very bold, very tannic, very heavy, very like viscous, where South African Shiraz does embody a lot of those characteristics, but it is less like, how do I say this? It is less like wow on your palate. It's a bit smoother. Just fun fact for you, Shiraz loves the heat. It does very well in the heat. And the winemaking style in South Africa really is very much drawn towards making like brighter, more sort of earthy style wines because of plenty of reasons like terroir, culture, and just practices in the region. So with that in mind, I'd expect that this wine is less tannic than South Australian Shiraz, and also less, it doesn't fill up your mouth as much as like a Jacob's Creek would. I expect this to be like a little bit lighter, but perhaps carry more fruit in it, especially since this is 2015, so a lot of the sharp edginess of a Shiraz has mellowed over time. So let's try this one. Cheers. The first thing that comes at you is white pepper, black pepper, cinnamon, like nutmeg. It's a lot more fruit forward than I had anticipated. And even though it's like not old, it's been in bottle for a while, it's still very sharp, it's still very it's bold. It might have a very short finish, like you taste it, it's there. The tannins are medium on this. It's not like, as I said, compared to South Australian Shiraz, where tannins are a lot more fuller and bolder. This is bright and short, so you have a sip, you taste all these amazing flavors, but it cuts off pretty quick. Yes, this wine is like a collector's item, and what I mean by that is this is a vineyard, this is a wine style that will definitely get better with age. Waterford has really outdone themselves in this. Like, I'm stunned that this is a 2015, because that's the whole 2015, where was I? I was in second year. That was the first year I went wine tasting in my life. And to think that that is the same year that this went in bottle, and it's still carrying itself through so elegantly today, that's incredible. That's like fantastic. This wine is definitely a good introduction to Shiraz if you've never had it before, because it has all the qualities that make a Shiraz a fantastic grape, without being too like overpowering. For example, if you're just getting into red wine and sometimes you feel like it's too dry, this is not like that in any way, because it's smoothened out. Yes, it's still got some bite and some character and those amazing elements that make a Shiraz. So I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And with that, that brings us to the end of this week's Karen Wine Hour. I hope you've learned a lot about Argentina and South Africa, and Chardonnay from the Highlands and Shiraz from Stellenbosch. And I really hope that I've inspired you to go out, and when you go out, try wines that are a little bit more unusual to what you're used to, and that the next time you come to Karen Country Club, you do opt to try one of these 2 bottles. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I can't wait to see you again next week.
Thank you so much, Mukami. Viewers, members, I hope you've learned something in our episode 5. We've taken you through the Catena Chardonnay and the Arnold Shiraz. I personally get to learn something new every time you come in. Mukami, thank you for coming. We are humbled as a Karenite. I hope your Karenites are also watching. You can reach us on our social media, which is our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. These wines are readily available on our wine list. You can always order through the F&B office, come to the bar, do a takeaway. Thank you for watching and see you for our next episode. Bye-bye.